Bonjour French 2 students. Here is your teaching video for lesson 21, pages 306 to 315 in your textbook. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 306. Unité 7, le temps libre. Leçon 21, le français pratique le week-end et les vacances. Leçon 22, vive le week-end. Leçon 23, l'alibi. Leçon 24, qui a de la chance. Okay, so this trimester in French 2B, we're going to do Units 7 and Unit 8. Remember, each unit is composed of 4 lessons, and the first lesson in each unit is the one that introduces about 90% of the vocabulary that you need for the unit. So this first lesson is going to be full of lots and lots of new vocabulary. Thème et objectif, leisure time activities. We work hard during the week, but we also need time to relax. In this unit, you will learn to discuss your weekend activities, to talk about individual summer and winter sports, to describe your vacation and travel plans. You will also be able to describe what you did and where you went yesterday, last week, or last summer. More generally, to narrate what happened at any time in the past. So remember, right now, you can speak in the present tense. That's most of what you've been doing. But you can speak in the future tense. To speak in the future tense, you used aller, conjugated, plus a second verb. Notice one of the things that's going to happen in this unit, okay, is that you're going to talk about what you did. That is the past tense. So for the first time in French, you're going to learn how to speak and write about things that have happened in the past. Tournez la page, s'il vous plaît. Leçon 21, le week-end et les vacances. So, weekend and vacation. So, this lesson is going to introduce you to vocabulary that you would use to describe what you do on weekends or on vacation. Accent sur les loisirs. When given the choice, French people would rather have more free time than more money. For them, leisure time is an essential component of what they call la qualité de la vie. By law, they work only 35 hours per week, and they have a minimum of 5 weeks of vacation per year. Like their parents, French teenagers value their leisure time and try to make the most of it. What are their favorite activities? Here is what they do when they have a free evening. So again, here we're talking about the fact that to most French people, they like to have some free time, okay? And we've talked about this before, about this 5 weeks of vacation, right? Most everyone in France gets the month of August off all at the same time. So we have qu'est-ce que tu aimes faire le soir, garçon and fille. So what do you like to do in the evenings? And the first column, garçon, that's for the boys, and fille, that's for the girls. Je regarde la télé. 24%, 18%. Je sors avec mes copains. 20%, 18%. Je vais au cinéma. 16%, 14%. Je lis. 14%, 20%. Je vais au concert ou au théâtre, 10%, 12%. Je vais danser, 8%, 12%. Je fais du sport, 6%, 4%. Je bricole, 2%, 2%. So this is a survey of people your age and what they like to do. Now do keep in mind, remember our textbook is 20 years old, okay? But the first one is I watch TV. And it would appear that more boys like to watch TV than girls. I go out with my friends. 20% versus 18. So again, a few more boys than girls going out with their friends, according to this survey. I go to the movie theater. Again, 16%, 14%. I read. More girls read than boys, according to this. I go to a concert or to the theater. Again, according to this, more girls go than boys. I go dancing. According to this, more girls go dancing than boys. I do sports. According to this, more boys do sports than girls. And I do things around the house pretty equally. Michelle est très sportive. Elle fait souvent du jogging dans le parc de la ville. Thomas adore faire du skate. Le samedi, il va au skatepark avec ses copains. So Michelle is very athletic. She often goes jogging in the city park. Thomas loves to go skateboarding. On Saturdays, he goes to the skate park with his friends. À la Martinique, il fait beau tout le temps. À la plage, on fait du surfing ou de la planche à voile. En hiver, beaucoup de gens français vont à la montagne avec leur famille ou leur école. Le snowboard ou le surf est un sport très populaire. So in Martinique, it is beautiful all the time. At the beach, one can go surfing or windsurfing. In winter, a lot of young French people go to the mountains with their family or their school. Snowboarding or surfing is a very popular sport. All right, so again, lots of new vocabulary in this lesson. So we first see how to plan your weekend activities. So we have qu'est-ce que tu vas faire samedi, samedi matin, dimanche après-midi, demain soir, ce week-end, le week-end prochain. And again, you've seen actually le matin, l'après-midi, and le soir before. It was with respect to the time, right? You would say il est 10 heures du matin, il est 2 heures de l'après-midi, il est 10 heures du soir. That was how you kind of indicated whether it was the morning, afternoon, or evening. Now we're seeing these kind of combined with days of the week, right? So this was asking, what are you going to do Saturday? Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, tomorrow night, this weekend, next weekend. Je vais rester chez moi pour faire mes devoirs, réparer mon vélo, préparer le dîner, aider mes parents, laver la voiture, nettoyer le garage, ranger ma chambre. So I'm going to stay at my house in order to do my homework, fix my bike, prepare dinner, help my parents, wash the car, clean the garage, pick up my bedroom. So I'm going to go through and ask you to repeat the things that are in bold in your textbook. S'il vous plaît, répétez le matin, l'après-midi, le soir, ce week-end, le week-end prochain, pour faire mes devoirs, réparer, préparer, préparer, aider, aider, laver, laver, nettoyer, nettoyer, ranger, ranger. So quite a few of these are verbs, and these are regular ER verbs, so this provides us with the opportunity to remember how to conjugate regular ER verbs. So remember what we see here, these are our infinitives. That's always the form that we're given in our textbook or if we look things up in a dictionary. To conjugate a regular ER verb, we start with that infinitive. We take off our ER, which gives us our stem. And remember, our stem is going to be in all 6 forms of our verb. And then to that stem we add depending upon the subject of the sentence. So remember, for je, we're going to add an E. For tu, an ES. For il, L, or on, an E. For nous, ONS. For vous, EZ. And for il and L pluriel, ENT. So to conjugate these verbs, okay, we have je répare, tu répares, il, elle, on répare, nous réparons, vous réparez, and il and elle pluriel répare. Remember that the boot forms, right, so that's the je, the tu, the il, elle, on, and the il, elle pluriel. Remember, those forms all sound the same even though they're spelled differently. Okay, so that was réparer. Next we will look at préparer. So it's je prépare, tu prépare, il, elle, on prépare, nous préparons, vous préparez, and il and elle prépare. Okay, so again, remember that réparer means to fix, préparer means to prepare. Next we have aider, which is to help. Okay, so notice this one would be a J apostrophe, right? A-I-D-E. So j'aide, to aide. Il, elle, on aide. Nous aidons. Vous aidez. And il and elle pluriel aide. Next we have laver, which means to wash. So lave, to lave, il, elle, on lave, nous lavons, vous lavez, il and elle pluriel lave. And lastly, here we have ranger. Now, we do need to be careful with ranger because notice ranger is a GER verb. Remember, GER verbs do something a little bit different in the new form. Okay, so we have je range, tu ranges, il, elle, on range, nous rangeons, and remember this is an EONS. Vous rangez, and il and elle pluriel range. Okay, so again, that provided a good opportunity for us to review irregular ER verbs and conjugating them. And again, ranger means to pick up. So, next we have je vais aller and pour. So I'm going to go in order to, Okay, and so these are places we might go, right? En ville, in town. Dans les magasins, in the stores. Au centre commercial, to a mall. Au cinéma, to the movie theater. Au café, to the cafe. Au stade, to the stadium. And then a new one here in bold, à la campagne, to the countryside. And then things that you might do, okay, in these places. So, faire des achats means to go shopping. Louer un film, to rent a movie. Voir un film, to see a movie. And I do want to make a note about this right now. This verb at this point you are only using in the infinitive. It's not a regular IR verb, and so I don't want you conjugating it. Okay. Rencontrer des copains. Assister à un match de foot. Be careful with assister. It looks like maybe it would be to assist or to help, but it's actually to go to or attend. And faire un pique-nique, to have a picnic. Je vais aller à une boum. Avant la boum, je vais faire des achats. Pendant la boum, je vais écouter des CD. Après la boum, je vais faire mes devoirs. So here's some vocabulary to help you put things in order. Right? I'm going to go to a party. Before the party, I'm going to go shopping. During the party, I'm going to listen to some CDs. After the party, I am going to do my homework. Again, I'd like you to repeat after me the things that are in bold. S'il vous plaît, répétez à la campagne. À la campagne. Faire des achats. Faire des achats. Louer. Louer. Voir. Voir. Rencontrer. Rencontrer. Assister à. Assister à. Faire un pique-nique. Faire un pique-nique. Avant. Avant. Pendant. Pendant. Après. Après. So, of those, again, louer, rencontrer, assister are all regular ER verbs. So they would follow these patterns that we just reviewed here. Okay? So we're not going to review those again. But remember, louer means to rent. Rencontrer means to meet. Okay? And assister means to attend or to go to. So, a difference about what ranger means versus nettoyer. Ranger is more to straighten up. To pick up. Versus nettoyer means to dust and vacuum. So my husband's fairly sad because my idea of cleaning is ranger. I'm a straightened up person. I don't particularly enjoy dusting and vacuuming. I typically leave that to him. Okay, so that's kind of the difference depending upon what kind of cleaning you're going to do. If you're really just kind of going around and straightening up and picking things up, then it would be more ranger and like putting things away where they go. Nettoyer would mean more like you're getting out the vacuum cleaner and you're going around and dusting things. Now, nettoyer, right, which means, okay, again, to dust and vacuum, so to clean, as in dust and vacuum. Okay. It is like, another verb that does this is payer. So what's going to happen is in the boot, this Y becomes an I. And payer does the same thing. In the boot, the Y becomes an I. So it's a regular ER verb otherwise. So remember, this is our stem. But in the boot, this Y is going to be an I. So N-E-T-T-O-I-R. N-E-T-T-O-I, and then I add my E. N-E-T-T-O-I, and I add my E-S. N-E-T-T-O-I, and I add my E. And N-E-T-T-O-I, and I add my E-N-T. In the new form, it uses the Y. So N-E-T-T-O-Y-O-N-S and N-E-T-T-O-Y-E-Z. S'il vous plaît, répétez nettoyer, je nettoie, tu nettoies, on nettoie, nous nettoyons, vous nettoyez, il nettoie. Okay? And payer does the same thing. In the boot, the Y becomes an I in those boot forms. So let's practice some of this new vocabulary. Notice something that's changed in our textbook is that our directions are now in French. So, qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Informez-vous sur les personnes suivantes. Décrivez ce qu'elles font ou ce qu'elles vont faire. Pour cela, complétez les phrases avec une expression du vocabulaire à la page 310. So, what are they doing? Inform yourself on the following people. Describe what they are doing or what they are going to do. For each, complete the sentences with an expression from the vocabulary on page 310. So, Sandrine est au garage. So, if Sandrine is in the garage, she is probably fixing something. So, elle répare son vélo or sa mobilette. Okay? So, I'll read the sentence, then I'd like you to say what goes in the blank. Then you're going to hear me give you an answer or sometimes maybe multiple choices of answers that could be okay. Okay? And you can check and see. So, I'd like you to make this a speaking activity that you're doing at home. So, numéro 1. Madame Joliette est dans la cuisine. Elle prépare le dîner. 2. Vincent Joliette est aussi dans la cuisine. Il aide sa mère. Il fait ses devoirs. Either of those would be fine. 3. Anne et Sylvie sont au bon marché. Remember, that was the name of a store in France. Elles font des achats. Elles rencontrent leurs copains. 4. Je suis dans ma chambre et je regarde mon livre de français. Je fais mes devoirs. 5. Olivier et ses copains achètent des billets de cinéma. Ils vont voir un film. 6. Mes amis vont à Yankee Stadium. Ils vont assister à un match de baseball. 7. Tu vas au café. Tu vas rencontrer des copains. 8. Vous faites des sandwichs. Vous allez faire un pique-nique à la campagne. Okay, on page 312, more vocabulary related to vacation plans. So how to plan your vacation activities. So we have qu'est-ce que tu vas faire à Noël, à Pâques, pendant les vacances de printemps, pendant les grandes vacances cet été. So what are you going to do at Christmas, at Easter, during spring vacation, during summer vacation, this summer? Je vais aller à la mer, à la montagne. So I'm going to go to the ocean or shore, to the mountains. Je vais voyager en avion, en train, en autocar, en bateau, en voiture. I'm going to travel by plane, by train, by touring bus, by boat, by car. Je vais voyager seul avec ma famille. I'm going to travel alone with my family. And again, right, this seul has an E on it because if you are feminine, right, you need to have the E on the seul. So again, what I'd like you to do is repeat after me the stuff that's in bold. That's more of the new vocabulary. S'il vous plaît, répétez Noël, Noël, Pâques, Pâques, les vacances, les vacances, les grandes vacances, les grandes vacances. And notice something here, right? Grande ends in an ES, which tells you it's feminine and plural. So the word vacances is feminine. Oops, which I spelled wrong. Okay. S'il vous plaît, répétez la mer, la mer, la montagne, la montagne, un avion, un avion, un train, un train, un autocar, un autocar, un car, un car, un bateau, un bateau, seul, seul. Je vais passer 10 jours, 6 semaines, 2 mois là-bas. I'm going to spend 10 days, 6 weeks, 2 months there. So that's how you can talk about how long you're going to spend there. And j'aime le ski nautique. En hiver, je vais à la montagne pour faire du ski. En été, je vais à la mer pour faire du ski nautique. So I like skiing. I like water skiing. In winter, I go to the mountains to go skiing. In the summer, I go to the shore to go water skiing. S'il vous plaît, répétez passer, passer, un jour, une semaine, un mois, le ski nautique. Le ski nautique. And passer again, this is a regular ER verb. So to conjugate it, you just do it like we reviewed the other regular ER verbs like aider and préparer and réparer. Okay, it's a regular ER verb. So a lot of the focus in this lesson is on sporting activities, okay, so things that you might try to do. So again, we see some of these. Notice this F here, right, is telling us that this is feminine. So we see the activity and then we see the sentences, okay. So again, s'il vous plaît, répétez le sport, je fais du sport, le jogging, nous faisons du jogging, la natation, tu fais de la natation, l'escalade, j'aime faire de l'escalade, le ski, tu fais du ski, le ski nautique, on fait du ski nautique, la voile, la voile. Paul fait de la voile. La planche à voile, la planche à voile. Vous faites de la planche à voile. Le relais, le relais. Des relais, des relais. Le skate, le skate. On skate, on skate. Le snowboard, le snowboard. On snowboard, on snowboard. Le VTT, le VTT. En VTT, en VTT. So again, these are different sports and activities that you might participate in. Now, to describe participation in these individual sports or other activities, the French use the construction. So they don't use the verb jouer to play. They use the verb faire, which remember means to do or to make. But they also use it when they're describing these activities. So we have du, de la, or de l'apostrophe. So remember, this du is going to happen with anything that's le. This is going to happen with anything that's la. And this is going to happen with anything that's l'apostrophe. So le relais becomes faire du relais. La voile becomes faire de la voile. And l'escalade becomes faire de l'escalade. Which means it's important that you remember your conjugations of the verb faire. So faire is je fais, tu fais, il, elle, on, fait. It sounds the same, but it's spelled a little differently, ending in a T. Nous faisons, vous faites, and il and elle pluriel font. You learned this back in French 1, okay, but it's been a while. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez faire, faire, je fais, tu fais, on fait, nous faisons, vous faites, ils font, elles font. So again, if I want to say that and you kind of see that up here, right? This became du because this was le. This is le, so it's du. This is la, so it's de la. Okay? L'apostrophe, so de l'escalade. Right? So again, we're using those de contractions. So remember, when I have a de followed by a le, I have to change it to du. Okay? De la stays de la. De and l'apostrophe stays de l'apostrophe. If I have a de followed by a lay, remember it becomes a day. So these were those de contractions that you learned last trimester. So look at the note culturelle, les sports d'hiver. À Noël et pendant les vacances de février, beaucoup de gens français vont à la montagne avec leur famille pour faire des sports d'hiver. Certaines écoles organisent des classes de neige. Les élèves étudient le matin et font du sport l'après-midi. Le ski est un sport très populaire, mais beaucoup de gens préfèrent faire du snowboard, une spécialité dans laquelle plusieurs Françaises ont été champions olympiques. So winter sports. At Christmas time and during February vacation, a lot of young French people go to the mountains with their family to do winter sports. Certain schools organize snow classes. The students study in the morning and do sports in the afternoon. Skiing is a very popular sport, but a lot of young people prefer to snowboard, a specialty in which several French people have been Olympic champions. So in France, many schools take their entire school to a resort in the mountains, and they have classes in the morning, and then in the afternoons they go skiing or snowboarding and enjoy the mountains and the winter sports. Exercice 5. Leurs activités favorites. Les personnes suivantes ont certaines activités favorites. Lisez où elles sont et dites ce qu'elles font. Pour cela, choisissez une activité appropriée de la liste à droite. Their favorite activities. The following people have certain favorite activities. Read where they are and say what they do. For each, choose an appropriate activity from the list at the right. So these are your choices of activities. So our example, Anne est dans un studio de danse. So if Anne's in a dance studio, then she is doing modern dance. Elle fait de la danse moderne. So remember, I'm going to be de la. If it's a de followed by a le, remember it's going to become du. And de and l'apostrophe. Okay, stay de l'apostrophe. So again, I'll read the sentence in your book. I'd like you to say the sentence about what you're doing or the person is doing. You're going to use the same subject in your sentence as the subject in your book. Numéro 1. Jean-Pierre est au stade. Il fait du sport. Il fait du jogging. Either of those would be fine. 2. Je suis à la plage. Je fais de la planche à voile. Or, je fais du ski nautique. 3. En juillet, nous allons dans le Colorado. Nous faisons de l'escalade. Nous faisons du camping. 4. Tu passes les vacances de Noël en Suisse. Tu fais du ski. 5. Mes copains passent les vacances à la campagne. Ils font du camping or ils font de la voile. 6. Pauline et Marie sont à la salle de gymnastique. Elles font de la gymnastique. 7. Vous êtes à la mer. Vous faites de la voile or vous faites du ski nautique or vous faites de la planche à voile. 8. Nous sommes à Tahiti. Remember, Tahiti is an island in the South Pacific. Nous faisons de la planche à voile. Okay. Nous faisons de la voile or nous faisons du ski nautique. 9. Avant le dîner, nous allons au parc municipal. Nous faisons du jogging or nous faisons du sport. 10. Je suis à la Martinique. Je fais du ski nautique or je fais de la voile or je fais de la planche à voile. So your first homework assignment, remember on your homework assignments up in the upper right-hand corner, I'd like you to put your name, your date, your period, even if you are typing your homework assignments. I'd like you to have your homework assignment labeled somewhere near the top what it is. This is page 311, exercise 2, and page 314, exercise 5. For exercise 2, we did this one out loud. Remember, directions are telling you to inform yourself on the following people, describe what they do or what they are going to do. For each, complete the sentences with an expression from the vocabulary on page 310. Okay. You just need to write out the sentence that has the ... in it. So for number 1, you would say Elle, okay, prépare le dîner. So you're going to write out sentences like that for the 8 of those. Exercise 5, we just did this one out loud. Right? This one is telling us that the following people have certain favorite activities. Read where they are and say what they are doing. For each, choose an appropriate activity from the list at the right. So again, number 1, Jean-Pierre is at the stadium, so we can say il fait du sport. Oops. That would work. You could also have il fait du jogging. Remember, for several of these, there were several choices. Okay? So you're going to write out sentences like that for the 10 of those. Au revoir. À demain.